Hello everyone, it's DiegoDoom here. Today I'm bringing you another review. Today I'll be reviewing Sentinel Riobot NERV Anti-G Special Decisive Weapon Shiryu. Shiryu is a concept created by famous Metal Gear artist Yoji Shinkawa for the promotional project Godzilla vs. Evangelion. After studying data from the previous Kiryu project, the Special Defense Organization known as NERV constructs the ultimate anti-Godzilla special decisive weapon, Shiryu. Designed and armed with special anti-Kaiju materials, Shiryu might be able to finally bring Godzilla down. Now at first, I was under the impression Godzilla vs. Evangelion was going to be a film. After reading the comments of my S.H.MonsterArts Evangelion Godzilla and also doing some more research, it looks like Godzilla vs. Evangelion is just a promotional project to sell merchandise, and it may or may not manifest into a film. Either way, this is a very cool crossover, and it's inspired me to check out the Evangelion series. Sentinel Riobot Shiryu is another fantastic release in the Riobot line. Shiryu has a fantastic sculpt, fantastic paint applications, great accessories, and a great range of articulation. Let's jump right into it and take a look at Shiryu himself. Shiryu has a great range of articulation. Before we start moving this figure around, there's something I have to warn you guys about. Shiryu is a very light and somewhat fragile figure. Shiryu does not contain any die-cast at all and does not really have that hefty or sturdy feel we're used to. When articulating this figure, you're definitely going to have to handle this figure with care. Starting with the head, we can look up, down, left, right. The mouth can open up. As we open the mouth, you can see these panels on the sides of the head slide backward, which is definitely very cool and a testament to Sentinel's awesome engineering. For the neck, we can lean forward, backward, and lean side to side. Now on my figure, I noticed the neck likes to pop out quite a bit, so do be mindful of that. For the shoulders, we can move in and out. They can also rotate a full 360 degrees. The arms can come up 90 degrees. We have an entire arm swivel. We have very nice single jointed elbows. On the bottom of the elbows, we have this appendage here that moves up and down. We'll get into that a little bit later in this review. The hands are on ball joints. We can tilt and spin these freely. In the upper torso, we can lean forward, backward, twist side to side, and lean side to side. Moving on to the legs, we can kick forward this much, backward this much, and come out to the side this much. For the knees here, we have a very interesting situation going on. So as you can see, we have this disc joint here, and then also we have this portion at the shin itself, which is pretty cool. So we can have Shiryu stand pretty tall or hunch down low enough to be in scale for MonsterArts figures. On the back of the calves, we have this smaller set of dorsal spikes, we'll call them. They're on hinges, can move up and down. The feet are on ball joints and can tilt and swivel pretty freely. If we spin around to the back, the dorsal fins on this figure have articulation. Some of the larger dorsal fins are on ball joints or they are on hinges, which is pretty cool and interesting. The tail is comprised of several different hinges and ball joints, giving it a very good range of articulation. When it comes to sculpt and paint apps, Shiryu is absolutely fantastic. Starting from the top, we have the head. At the top of the head, we have the sharp armored starting 3 dorsal fins with metallic silver paint app. This metallic silver paint app can be seen throughout the body. As we move down, we have the unique head plate with a dark gunmetal paint app. In the top center of the head plate, we can see a small decal that says 01 test type. The eyes have a slender, sharp sculpt with a sky blue paint app. In what we'll call the cheek area, we have neon green accents. The lower jaw has a sharp angular sculpt. The inside of the mouth has a mechanical sculpt with a matte black paint app. Moving down the neck, we have various armored plates, circular discs, and orange accents. The chest has an armored vented sculpt. The pecs have a dark gunmetal paint app, while the sternum has a metallic silver paint app. On the top of each shoulder, we have a very clean and crisp NERV logo with a crimson red paint app. The biceps are metallic silver with various impressions. On the triceps, we have this very cool piston-like structure. In the center of the forearms, we have a neon green accent. On the sides of the forearms, we have our articulated blade panel. The hands have a sharp armored sculpt with black accents on the knuckle joints and an orange accent on the index knuckle joint. The legs have a large armored angular sculpt with various mechanical details. On the top of the thighs, we have two small neon green accents. The shins have a more slender angular sculpt. On the sides of the calves, we have more of our neon green accents. On the back of the calves, we have our series of secondary dorsal fins with a sharp sculpt and gunmetal paint apps. The feet have a large sculpt with neon green and orange accents. I really like how the toes have serrated edges. Spin around to the back, we have Shiryu's large armored dorsal fins. The dorsal fins come from the back of the head with a metallic silver paint app. As we come down the back, the dorsal fins become larger and have weathered purple tips. As we reach the tail, the dorsal fins become smaller and taper off once we reach the tail tip. The tail has a very nice multi-segmented armored sculpt with various impressions. For accessories, first up we have our pair of relaxed open hands with a metallic silver robotic sculpt and black and orange accents on the knuckle joints. The hands surprisingly attach via ball joints. I figured these hands would attach via straight pegs or something. Now with our relaxed open hands attached, we can combine them with our normal open hands to complement Shinryu's dynamic poses. Next we have our pair of anti-Kaiju blades. The blades have a nice semi-sharp sculpt with a gunmetal paint app. At the tips of the blades we have a weathered purple paint app. On the body of the blades we have a neon green accent and we can also see the small anti-Kaiju blade text. To attach, all we have to do is slot the blades into the articulated forearm parts. The blades can be placed in two different states. We have our stationary mode, and then, if we simply flip the blades around, Shiryu is now ready to cut down Kaiju. Next up we have what I assume is a tail blade. Initially, this blade is attached to the figure. The tail blade has a long semi-sharp sculpt with a gradated paint app from neon green to matte black. The tail tip attaches via a ball joint. Now if you're having a hard time attaching the tail blade, I recommend using a hairdryer to soften up the socket to make it easier to attach. Now with our tail blade attached, Shiryu has another means to cut down Kaiju. Finally, we have our large stand with a nice sculpt and a matte black paint app. We have an articulated neck that can be placed anywhere on the stand. It would have been nice if we had a NERV logo or the Godzilla vs. Evangelion logo in the center of the stand. To attach Shiryu to the stand, all we have to do is remove the center crotch panel and then peg the stand into the hole. Now we have a cool means to display Shiryu and support dynamic poses. Now that we have the accessories out of the way, let's do some size comparisons. As a whole, Shiryu turned out to be absolutely fantastic. The sculpt is sharp and unique, the paint apps are clean and crisp, and the articulation is great. Now there are two major issues I have with this figure. As I mentioned before, Shiryu does feel very fragile like a Master Grade kit. I'm deathly afraid of dropping this figure. I'm 1000% sure it would be a disaster if Shiryu took a dive of any type. You will absolutely have to handle this figure with care. The second main issue I have with this figure is the price tag. Shiryu is roughly $195, which is crazy. I could stomach that price a little bit easier if Shiryu had some diecast in him, but unfortunately, he doesn't have any diecast at all. I think if you pick this figure up for full price, you might feel some buyer's remorse. Price and fragility aside, this really is an awesome and unique figure to add to your Godzilla collection. This has been another review by DiegoDoom. Thank you very much for watching, and please stay tuned for more figure reviews. To see the unboxing of this figure or more Sentinel reviews, click the links on screen. Be sure to check out my new Patreon page, follow me on social media, and remember, like, comment, share, and subscribe.